Wu-Tang Forever celebrated an anniversary this past week, and I wanted to kind of have a conversation about that real quick. CJ Kidd says, just asking questions for laughing. Jay Short, is Migos better than G-Unit or Dipset? More questions. Yes, because they're actually a group.
Those are collectives. I get what you're saying about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's different, man. Then we're going to sit here and talk about the Dungeon Family. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And again, collectives can't make the album output that real groups have because they're actually a group. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're actually a group.
No, Mike, the Lox are better than the Migos. I just thought about that.
I mean, they don't have the catalog to prove it as a group. The Lox, the shortcoming with the Lox is their group catalog. I mean, this last album that they put out a couple of years ago is their best album.
It is.
And you and I said that.
But We Are the Streets is comparable.
Is it like that, though?
I love We Are the Streets. Breathe Easy is one of my favorite records. Like, period. We gonna RUFFRYDE revolver, semi-automatic in the PG, hoop the getaway driver. Breathe Easy. Yeah, that's shit.
Do you think the Lox as a group are underachievers?
For the talent level, yes.
There it is.
Because in Kiss and Styles, well, see, but this isn't an underachiever or overachiever conversation we having. Are the Migos overachievers? Oh, well, hell yeah. The Lox underachievers? Hell yeah. But that ain't what we talking about.
Okay. All right. Well, Wu-Tang Forever celebrated, what, 26 years? Yeah, it's 97.
Been a long time.
Double disc. And I think we've talked about this before.
That mid-90s revenue pitch that Tupac started.
Exactly.
Tupac started a whole stimulus package with the double disc.
I was telling Ron that earlier. I was like, we looked at double disc differently back then. We thought, oh, shit, double disc. But now it's a money. I mean, it was a money play. Looking back at it.
Yeah, Pac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a money play.
He's out of jail.
Even with the Blueprint 2, right? And after Ether happened. Just so you couldn't say, well, you know, Ether affected his record sales. Let me drop a double disc to make sure that this number stays intact.
You want to know what came on today that I literally haven't heard in about a decade? A Dream, the start to the Blueprint 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just listening to it, and I was like, yeah, you lost that battle real bad. You were rapping your ass off.
He was. Yeah. That's the only time Jay ever admitted defeat on the song The Blueprint 2.
Had a dream, I said, about who he said, about big I said, that's
big he said. Yo, and so that was a numbers play, and so was Scorpion. It's like whenever you lose a rap battle, let's throw a double disc out there to make sure that the numbers don't get affected in the court of public opinion.
Well, it's a music business, Mike.
But I feel like in Pac's case and in Wu-Tang Forever, I don't think that was the case. I think that Wu-Tang justifiably put out a double disc because they had so many members and they had so many projects come out between that 4-year, I guess you could say 3.5-year period, because it was the end of 93. But I think that we really wanted a double disc from Wu. What do you think?
The younger version of me agreed with you.
Mm-hmm.
But we all know who the RZA is now, so this was a money play.
Think that was a money play too?
It was, because he wanted Wu-Tang to be where Puff and Big were, where Pac was, where Nas was, where their contemporaries were.
Which came out first, Art of War or Wu-Tang Forever? Because that was a double disc too. I forgot Bone did that.
Wu-Tang Forever came out first.
Yeah, it might have been a money play then, because everybody was doing it.
Well, let's look at it. We got just 96 specifically. We got Nas doing about 3 million on It Was Written.
Yeah.
We got Pac doing 5 on the double with All Eyes on Me. Big had just got done doing 1.5 on Ready to Die. Not mistaken, Junior Mafia was gold.
I can see that.
And they were going gold and platinum.
They had bangers on there too.
Right. Now, let's go to Wu-Tang right quick. Until the Wu-Tang went platinum, barely. Method Man went platinum. But people forget, no. Return, Cuban Links, Liquid Swords, Iron Man, gold, not platinum.
Yeah.
Ray sold 700,000. Jizza sold about the same. So they're not going platinum. Their contemporaries are going platinum. Wu-Tang Forever is a money play.
And so it's a sophomore album. You can't show that sophomore slump. So you got to make sure the numbers are there.
Right, because you just went platinum in 93 with no pub.
That could have been Bones' thing too with Art of War, because East 99 did so many units.
like
They're like,
6,
yeah,
7 million
we got to make
units.
sure it matches this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
the
it's-
double disc was that play to do
So
that.
now it looks better for Wu-Tang because it's like, oh, well, they got so many guys and the guys are stars now.
That's
No,
how I looked at it.
That's how we all looked at it. It's just not true, Mike. This is the music business. And here's how we should have known that it wasn't like this. Think about how much money they spent for the first fucking video.
You're right. Triumph was this is a big event
Triumph
type
was making
thing.
MTV News. What's her name? Tabitha Sorensen. Remember
Mhm.
Tabitha pulling
Yeah.
up? Yeah, because they were showing the visual aids of them doing it. Had Deck on the side of the building and interviewing the Wu-Tang Clan. I'm like, they're interviewing these niggas. I was like, this is big.
Right.
So this is a money grab. This
They
is
had
money.
explosions and shit.
$1 million
Quincy
video.
Jones was in the video. You remember that?
Yes. They got Ray and Ghost in like a gold cage. I'm like, these niggas got.
Ray and Ghost is sitting there with Quincy Jones and
I was looking at Mike when Ray came on. I was like, man, that piece cost about half of this video. I'm like, these niggas is rich now.
Hey, yo, that's amazing. CJ Kidd with the super chat says G Unit, Dipset, and Boot Camp Click all have group albums. They are a collective, but they have albums as a group. But how many though? T Nitty with the super chat says Migos got 0 classic albums. Not a top 20 without that. Okay. Let's see what else we got here as far as super chats go. I think I just missed somebody. I gotta get a better system for this. All right, Jay Short with the super chat says Made Men are greater than the Migos.
That's just disrespectful.
He said I seen it in the source. I bet you did. Made Men are a top 10 group in the Source magazine.
They got 4.5 mics.
Christopher Hogan with the super chat says,
Damn shame.
No Hot Boys. I'm Louisiana biased though. You know what? I'll say this, man. If the Hot Boys once again would have stayed around longer, yes. I think that one of the things when it comes to groups, and we're seeing it with the Migos now, groups don't last that long because of breakups and because of splits, whatever, and things like that.
Money.
And folks go solo. So not a lot of groups have that longevity to be in those conversations. That's why I got to give De La props. I got to give the Locks props for staying together and maintaining that group. But the Locks thing is they're bigger as individuals than they are as the Locks.
Yeah,
and that's one of the rare situations. That never happens.
Till Mighty D Block comes on, Mike, and then it all changes. Everywhere we go, people want to know.
They're the only group that's like that.
They are the only groups that the sum of their parts are greater than the group.
It's crazy. I mean, they're very different.
You could say that about Wu too, though, Mike.
That Wu-Tang symbol is what it is.
It's Wu-Tang forever. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, here's
even as big as Meth and Ray and RZA are, that Wu-Tang brand is big.
Here's what the Locks didn't do. They needed a classic album out the gate. Because Enter the Wu-Tang has lingered on. And will linger on forever. Enter the Wu-Tang is why it's Wu-Tang forever, not Wu-Tang forever.
What does a classic debut Locks album look and sound like in 1997?
Probably all those tracks that we heard on No Way Out.
Oh, yeah. All About the Benjamins, the first single.
Puff ass.
T Nitty with the super chat says, We Are the Streets is better than any Migos album. Man, y'all ready to go to war with me on this.
We Are the Streets is pretty dope, Mike. When I said
I need to go back and revisit
when I
We
said
Are the Streets.
when I said the Living Off Experience album was the best Locks album, I wasn't saying it like by a lot. I was saying it like, oh no, it's close between We Are the Streets and Living Off Experience. They have two stellar albums.
You and I both expressed how bogus it is that the Source magazine refused to actually rate Wu-Tang Forever. What do you think Wu-Tang Forever in 1997 should have gotten in the Source magazine?
Realistically?
Yeah, realistically.
Well, this is what I mean about where they messed up. Well, when you give Liquid Swords and Iron Man 4 mics, when you give Liquid Swords and Iron Man 4 mics, and you give the Purple Tape 4.5, and you give Takao 4, and Return to the 36 Chambers 4, and you give Enter the Wu-Tang 4.5, well, since you fucked up all their mics already, you feel what I'm saying? Since you've already fucked up, where they really messed up, specifically West Coast and Wu-Tang. And so, based on how they were rating the albums, this would be a 3.5 based on how they were rating it.
Jeez. There would have been riots in the street if they would have given this 3.5.
4, Mike. Return to the 36 Chambers got a 4. The Purple Tape's a 4.5. Liquid Swords and Iron Man, which are clearly better than this album, got 4s.
Yeah.
So even handing this album a 4, you understand how many people would have burned down the buildings in New York? Like, oh, y'all gave these niggas a 4. Why Liquid Swords get a 4 then?
Yeah.
Why Iron Man get a 4?
Yeah.
Why the Purple Tape only get 4.5 if this is a 4 and Purple Tape sound 20 times better than this? So they screwed themselves, which is why they didn't rate it. The real rating for an album is an actual 4, though, Mike.
I think so, too. I think so too. CJ Kidd says, is Cypress Hill better than Migos?
Maybe.
I don't think so, but hey.
Maybe. They've done a lot of material. They're kind of like Migos in the sense that they've done a lot of
material. They got
material.
the longevity. Yeah.
No, they've done a lot of material that's great that people don't know about outside of the tribe in Cali.
Well, speaking of bangers, what about Naughty by Nature?
I can't take Naughty over Migos. I'm sorry.
I'm glad to hear you say that.
No, I'm going to be honest with you.
Anyway, But yeah, I think the four.
I never liked Naughty's albums like that, though.
I'm just saying, Naughty and Migos, as far as their approach, is very similar. Naughty wasn't here to make albums for you. They were here to make bangers, and they did that. But they just didn't do it as long as the Migos did.
I don't think they were prepared for what OPP became. So I think Migos' goal was always to make bangers. I think it's something that Treach and Van got kind of thrust into because of what OPP became. Because it became the rap song of the year that year. And so it was like, oh, shit, we got to keep on doing this.
And I think Hip Hop Hooray is bigger.
I think Hip Hop Hooray is better.
I think OPP is better, in my personal opinion, but I ain't mad at that.
I think Treach is a better MC in 93, slightly.
You're right. No, that's correct.
The way he's fucking sliding on Hip Hop Hooray.
Yeah.
Like, Treach is just a mic performer. Like, big, bright lights, drastically underrated. He showed his ass on that record.
Yeah. You heard a lot about a brother gaining more ground, being low down, or do the showdown, but then they let a hoe round. I want to know who you believe in. And when he said that part about you put your heart in a part of a part that spreads apart.
Yeah, when we had a spark. Ooh,
jeez,
that's what I'm saying. He doing this on a. You want to know? It's very Biggie like. How it is just talking reckless on the big record.
I remember Biggie giving him props too. Like he was talking about how crazy OPP was being a hit record, and this man rapping like this.
Push the Chrome 740, doing what? Rocking Redman and Naughty.
Yeah, you know what somebody told me today, man.
He shouted out Treach on Ready to Die in the notes too.
Yeah.
And when he talked
about I remember
when he did interviews and talked about the best lyricists before his album was coming out, he specifically referenced Treach and Nas. So
a hip hop listener that's slightly younger than you and I, but still in his 30s, told me today that Biggie was overrated and Eminem was in his top 5. And I proceeded to be like, okay, well, let's go song for song then.
Okay. You should stop talking to
him. And so I started off with Juicy.
Are you friends with him? You should stop being friends.
We just met, you know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? It's
need to end the relationship.
I'm trying to get into the psyche of some of these crazed Eminem fans.
Especially when he finds out who you really are. Has he watched this show ever?
I mean, he knew quickly who I was as far as, you know, my stance on Eminem and his catalog. But he went to the stance where it was like, whatever song I say, you're just going to not like. It's like, no, it's not about that. I'm going to name One More Chance remix, and you give me something to match that. And he was saying stuff like, you know, the way I am or whatever. I don't know. I don't get it with the Eminem fans. I think that MTV and Interscope did an incredible job of catching people in their very impressionable years, and they buried into them that this guy is elite to the level of somebody like a Biggie Smalls. And I think people who weren't around for Biggie's run might think that some of the stuff is overstated because the man has 2 albums, but nobody did more with 2 albums than Big. But anyway, man, 97 was that Life After Death year, and for them to give Life After Death 5 mics and not rate Wu-Tang Forever as a double disc, I could understand how Wu-Tang Forever is difficult to rate, especially, you know, based on all the things that you just said about how they rated Liquid Swords, Iron Man, and all that stuff. But you still got to step up to the plate and rate an album like Wu-Tang Forever. It was a big moment.
Do you think Life After Death deserved the 5?
I don't.
Okay.
I didn't back then. I understand now why it did, because my mentality back then with the 5 mics was a perfect album, no skips. Something that Clark Kent said, actually. And I disagree with now, and I agreed with back then, but Life After Death has skips. And if Clark Kent wants to say that The Chronic is not a classic because he could do without the RBX song, well, let's look at this album right here. Can you do without Jigga That Nigga Jigga?
I can do without that Brooklyn's Finest beat on Reasonable Doubt, but ain't nobody complaining about it.
Can you do
that
without?
Beat ain't all that.
It's not. Can you do without Ola Ovito?
I can do without that first song that he released on the 18th letter too. They should have released The Saga Begins, or It's Been a Long Time. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
About how people need to be careful. It's like, yeah, you messed up Rakim's comeback with that whack beat. So
I think Life After Death's 4.5. Based on what they were giving 5 mics at that point, and based on the fact that you gave Only Built for Cuban Links 4.5.
Now, I think Life After Death was arguably the hardest rating to give at the time because here's the thing. There are some skips on there, but the stuff that you don't skip is just like, I'll tell you how.
That's how I feel now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it balances out.
I'll tell you how I feel. I think the first album is flawless on Life After Death.
Yeah, I agree.
And I would agree with you on this. I think the weakest song on disc 1 is Hypnotized.
Yeah, I don't like Hypnotized, but Hypnotized is a banger and the niggas spit. So I can't. I mean, that's more of a personal thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sorry, when the nigga's saying shit like, "I know you sick of this lame brand nigga with flows." Yeah, when he spit. Yeah, that's the weakest record on disc 1.
Girlfriend, here's a pen. Call me round 10. Come through, have sex on
Hypnotize is your weak song. Yeah. It's like, so first of all, disc 1's a 5. Okay.
Yeah, I got a story to tell. What's beef?
Yeah,
more money, more problems. He circled every wagon. He got bangers, album songs.
This one is the 5. The real skips come in disc 2 because disc 2 is more subjective in the musical taste towards the end, where it's like, well, those last 4 songs are all knockouts. Everything up to those songs, like tracks 1 through 8 on disc 2, is about the big that you like, and that's where the skip comes in, because 9, 10, 11, and 12 are not skippable tracks.
And I will say this, on disc 2, he's innovating. Kind of like
that's what I mean. Yeah. It's about the big that you like. It's like
he's doing some things that we hadn't heard rappers do.
Well, this is what I mean. They're skippable tracks. I like Going Back to Cali, but I don't play it every time.
Right.
I'm going to tell you exactly how I usually play disc 2. Like for me, you know how disc 2 plays for me? I play Notorious Thugs.
Yep.
Then I go to 10 Crack Commandments. And then I go to The World Is Filled and I Let It Ride. That's what I mean about it skip.
I skip.
But I don't like that happy shit, and everybody knows that. So there ain't going to be no player hater or no nasty boy or no sky's the limit. I don't want to hear that.
You know he produced Sky's the Limit, too.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Clark Kent produced Sky's the Limit. He said, Biggie said that was
I don't care for that beat either.
Biggie said that was his favorite song on the album, actually. CJ Kidd would,
because he likes the whole ashy to classy thing.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
CJ Kidd with the super chat says they messed up Gangstar 2. Step in the Arena and Daily Operation got 3.5. Hard to Earn got 4, and Moment of Truth got 4.5 mics. Objectively, these are all classics by the general consensus.
No, the Moment of Truth should have got the 5. The rest of them is about proper, though.
Yeah, how many classic albums do you think the Gangstar has?
2, Hard to Earn and Moment of Truth.
Okay. Mad Max says, I'm taking Migos over most of these
groups.
On.
Which one got Mass Appeal? Is that Step Into Arena?
Yeah, that's Step Into the Arena.
Hard to Earn still better.
Mad Max with the super chat says, I'm taking Migos over most of these groups. And sorry, grinding cool, but Fight Night would get that out of here. Watch. I love it, Mad Max. See, Mad Max representing for the younger generation, and he from New York.
Mad Max don't know shit, and everybody that watches the show know that.
Andrew Williams with the super chat says, Mike, I didn't mean literally Migos peers because they don't have any peers. I meant against other groups in history. They don't stack up against. Just wanted to clarify. Well, see, that's the other thing, too. If we're comparing them to other generations, that means they're really strong. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they didn't have any peers similar to Nicki, but the difference between them and Nicki is they actually made rap records.
You know what I am going to do, Mike, out of respect for your rap perspective? I'm going to do a little Migos dig. I'm still going to whoop you with the clips real good. I'm going to beat you real sound fundamental. Mike, I'm going to beat you with some typical rap songs.
Typical rap songs. The title of this episode.
I'm going to beat you with typical rap songs.
Yeah, I'm going to have to change the title of this episode. Typical rap songs. Melvin Wright with the super chat says, Life After Death got 5 because he died. Let's be real.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I thought when it happened.
I mean, I'm just saying if you just go.
But it's justifiable. It ain't off. It's not like Made Men getting 4.5 or nothing.
That's some off base shit.
Yeah, it's not off base. Or Guerrilla Warfare getting 4.5. Mad Max with another super chat.
That was absurd.
That shit was crazy. Eminem.
How you give 400 Degrees 4, but give Guerrilla Warfare 4.5?
Right.
What the hell are you listening to?
Listening to some checks cashing. Mad Max with a super chat
Universal
says.
at work.
Right. M isn't in Biggie's level, but Biggie is overrated. He said, and he, hold on 1 second. All right. He said, M isn't on Biggie's level, but Biggie is overrated. And he was used to blackball Nas and Wu and rappers with a real message. Biggie is a great talent, though. Interesting perspective.
See how Mad Max don't know shit.
Jay Short with the super chat says, here's a fair question. Is Migos better than Naughty by Nature or Bone? Again, I give them the longevity conversation.
What say you about Bone?
And I'm a huge Bone fan. You know that.
I'm taking Bone over Migos. Bone got Migos. Yeah.
Listen, man.
I don't care what you say.
You know I love Bone,
Thuggish
man.
Ruggish Bone, For the Love of Money. Crossroads. 1999. First of the month. Everyday Thing. What's the shit on the soundtrack? Days of Our Lives.
Shoot 'em up.
Shoot 'em up. No, you don't want. Don't do that.
Now
I'll beat you with Bone versus Migos.
You probably would.
Beat you.
No, you probably would.
Yeah, Migos not better than Bone. And here's the thing. Bone to me is barely top 15. Like they're 15 to 20. That's why I'm like, no, Migos more like 25, 30.
I think Migos gets them in the longevity run, and I know
but think about this. You got to use the longevity run for the Migos to beat Bone. That means what? That means Bone got them on bangers.
In a vacuum, if we're talking about that time period where Bone was hot, nobody's touching Bone in that period. Like we're talking about 94 to 97. But if we look at the whole duration, I would give Migos the nod. And, I mean, I got ties to Bone. And I hate to say, I'm trying to be fair. You know what I mean?
You just don't have any smoke for that, Mike, because the Migos thing is the bangers. And guess who got better and more classic bangers than the Migos?
And
Bone.
East 1999 is better than every album that Migos
Mike, I ain't even
made.
bought up Thug Love. It's a problem out in these streets.
Yeah, Notorious Thugs in their catalog, too. Yeah. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, Edutainment by BDP got 5 mics, yet is never documented with the other 5 mics in future publications.
The blueprint, the first blueprint.
Documenting them. I wonder why. Well, and this is what I wanted to talk about, too. It's funny we're talking about Wu-Tang Forever and we're talking about mic ratings. A lot of those groups that got 5 mics before Illmatic, some of those groups, and I mean, Brand Nubian's album, right?
These ain't 5 mic albums. I've been saying that.
And I think what happened was The Source, they created this 5 mic lexicon after Illmatic where an album had to be perfect, and it made it look like some of the albums that they gave 5 mics before that weren't at that level. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, none of the albums before the Illmatic 5 mic album were better, but let's pull them up right quick.
Yeah, let's pull up the albums that, because I want to say in order. It's America's Most, right? Well, no. People's Instinctives first. Then America's Most. Then I want to say Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em, right?
Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em. It's People's Instinctive.
Uh-huh.
And then it's Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em, because People's Instinctive is April 10th, and Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em is June 19th, and that's both 90.
Okay. And you know how I love People Instinctives.
America's Most is May 16th, so April, May, June.
Yeah, so they gave April, May, June. Yeah, they gave 5 mics April, May, June.
They gave out 5 mics 3 straight months in 1990.
They were kind of still getting it together.
I mean, People's Instinctive isn't a 5 mic album, Mike.
And you know I love People's Instinctive.
But it's not.
It's not.
Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em is.
I don't think it is, and I love Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em.
Where's the skip? Where's the bad performance?
I think as the album goes on, it doesn't have that level of intensity that No Omega, Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em, Ghetto, and all that stuff have.
It might be his best mic performance, which is saying a lot, though.
That is saying a lot. I think the production kind of lacks a little bit, though.
Okay.
I think Step Back and all that stuff is dope, but I think it's 4.5 at most. You know what I'm saying?
I'm cool with the 4.5, but it's definitely not a 4.
No. Then what's after that?
Is America's Most a 5? Is America's Most the first 5?
I think Death Certificate's the 5. Honestly.
No. That they actually gave it to before Illmatic, though, because Death Certificate got 4.5.
I'm fine with America's Most getting 5.
So America's Most should actually be the first 5, Mike.
It really should.
And then the Low End Theory would be the next 5.
Now that's a 5. The Low End Theory is 5.
One for All comes out December 4th of 1990, and that got a 5 too.
Right.
No. So for me, I think it goes, America's Most in 90, and then Low End Theory in 91. And so those are the only 5 mic albums that they got right, in my opinion, before Illmatic.
Do you think 36 should have got 5?
Easy.
I think The Chronic should have got 5. I think Doggy Style should have got 5.
I mean, they just shitted on the West Coast. Death Certificate got 4.5. That's a 5 mic album. That's Cube's best work. The Chronic is one of the best works ever. That's a 5 mic album. Doggy Style is one of the best works ever. That's a 5 mic album. They've been fucking up for our whole life.
Yeah.
Our whole life.
And so Only Built for Cuban Links should have got 5, right? After Illmatic.
Hey, real talk.
Yeah.
The infamous and Cuban Links did not get 5 mics because they came out a year after Illmatic.
I still think even after Illmatic, Only Built for Cuban Links should have got it.
Mike, it's the only album that I tell you. It's just like, oh no, I play the Purple Tape more than I play Illmatic, and I always did.
And then I'm gonna say Akumenai. I think Life After Death should have got 4.5.
Ooh, hold on.
And I'm gonna jump out of the window and say Supreme Clientele should have got 5 mics.
Yeah, I figured you would do that.
I'm jumping out the window.
I'll tell you what. For different,
CJ Kid with the super chat says, Mr. Scarface got 4. The World Is Yours got 3.5. Diary got 4. And then 5. And then 5 later. Untouchable got 4. My Homies got 4. Dying Breed got 4.5. The Fix got 5. Is this rating correct, or is Face for Face from the source? Do you think The Fix should be his only 5 mic album?
The Diary.
The Diary, okay. Jay Short with the
most
super
of Face
chat.
stuff is 4.5.
Okay.
Like almost like the catalog is 4.5. Like The Fix, The Diary. What's the first one? Mr. Scarface is back.
Yep.
Those are the.
Jay Short with the super chat says,
Untouchable, not too far behind though.
He said, big Gangstar fan, but hard to earn is a 4. It's strange that Primo's transition an album between jazz and boom bap. Daily Operation was better and more cohesive. Mad Max with the super chat says, Biggie just talked a lot of mess, but really what he do is praise him, gave him a holiday, and nothing he said was positive ever.